Hi, my name is Jamie Phillip with Cheema Freightlines. I'm joined today by my friend Eric Donahue to talk about our equipment. How are you doing today, Eric?
Doing great.
Fantastic. Well, I see some beautiful equipment parked right behind us. Can you tell us a little bit about what we've got here?
Yeah, in the middle we have our Freightliner Cascadia. Over to the right is our Peterbilt 579, and over to the other side is the Kenworth T680. These are all 2023 models.
All right, well, I hope maybe you take me in for a closer look.
Absolutely.
Let's do that.
Okay. This is our Freightliner Cascadia. It has a DD15 425 horsepower engine in it with a 12-speed automatic transmission. Let's get on inside and take a look.
All right.
So, going to open up the door. First, we got to make sure our power's on. Whenever you go home for home time for your 34-hour restart, make sure you clean out your fridge and shut the batteries off if it's going to be for anything longer than 24 hours. Your battery switch is right here. You just turn that to the on position. 3 points of contact. We got 2 bars here. Always use 3 points of contact when getting in and out of the truck, please. Okay, here we are in our Freightliner Cascadia. We have our trusty mobile comm right here. I'm going to go ahead and turn the key on. It's always best to have the key on when you operate your mobile comm. You get a better signal, and when there's full power going to it, you get better performance from the tablet. This is our steering wheel with all the controls on it. On the left-hand side, we have our wiper controls, our window wash, and our high beams. On the dash to the left is our light switch. Turn to the right to turn them on. When you pull it out, it turns on the fog lights. This is our dash, our menu on the dash. To control it, we use the controller on the left-hand side of the steering wheel. And there are different tabs on there. Go to the tab you want. You can change gauges from speed to RPMs to use your engine idle adjust or your optimized idle. To check out any kind of codes. You can also use it to set up to operate your radio, to change radio stations. And there's an alarm clock on there too. That's all these right here. This is your navigation buttons, your back button. To the right, if you want to give a driver clearance going by, and you have your headlights on, click this button here. That'll flash your lights. Or if somebody gave you clearance, you want to blink back thank you, just do this a couple times with that. These are the controls for your cruise control. Get your speed up to where you want it at. You'll hit set to set the speed. You can go up or down with the speed using these 2 buttons, plus or minus. If you have to hit your brake and it cancels the cruise control, if you hit the cancel button, hit this to resume to the speed you were at. This truck is equipped with adaptive cruise. The radar transponder on the front will detect up ahead of you. If that vehicle is moving slower than you, it will match that speed. To the right is our shift paddle. This is how you control your transmission. Put it forward to go into drive. Middle is neutral. Back is reverse. When you park, make sure you set your parking brake and put it in neutral. The truck will not start unless it's in neutral. It is an automatic. Please don't mess with the manual side. If you do need to shift down or up, you should be able to go up or down on here on the paddle itself to shift the gears. This also operates your Jake brakes. All the way up is off. First position is stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. You're going to get your maximum power on stage 3. Go all the way up to go off. To the right of the steer column are our control buttons here for the cab. You have your sleeper dome light. You can turn it off from here. Your ambient light. This is an important one right here. This is your light test when you're doing a pre-trip inspection. You have your trailer. Press this button. It will start going through a series of tests on the lights. You can go outside. It'll turn on your headlights. It'll turn on your high beams, your marker lights, your flashers. It'll go through every one. You can watch and see if you have any go out. The next button over is your dome light. In the middle, this big red triangle, of course, that's your hazards. Your utility light for the rear. Automatic traction control. If there's an issue with that, if it spins, it's best not to mess with that. But if you have to, you can press that to stop that. Over here you have your override for your engine shutdown. If you lose oil pressure or if you've lost coolant. If you're in traffic, you can press on this It'll override that to get over to the side, to the shoulder, and safely off the highway. Do not use it for any other reason. Do not drive it any farther than you have to. Over to the right here, you have your power divider. That locks in your both differentials. If you're in a place with lots of potholes or bad traction, you'll kick that on. This is your fifth wheel release button. We'll get into that in a little later. The unlock for your fifth wheel, so you can slide it and adjust your weight. And this is for your airbags. Press this, it will drop your airbags when you're unhooking from a trailer. Makes it much, much easier. Up here you have a gauge, and always wondered what that gauge was before. This is your suspension gauge. And never use it as an absolute weight. It is always best to get your weight from a certified scale. It's okay to get a ballpark figure from this, but if you're up there and heavy, go to a certified scale, please. And of course, your controllers for your HVAC, for your climate control. You can see the different settings here. Press the middle button, that's your air conditioner. Of course, you can set your temperature using this button. This is your fan, and this is for recirculator to bring in fresh air. And of course, you have your stereo and all your power outlets. And that's pretty much it for the tour of the dash. Okay, here we are in the bunk area. All the controls from the bunk are on the driver's side of the cab. So we have all the controls for the HVAC system and for your inverter. Up here is your S-bar heater. When you are parked in cool conditions, the engine has to be shut off. You just turn it on. You can go up or down. This will be your temperature right here. This is the diesel-fired bunk heater. Works very good. Saves a lot of fuel too. Right here we have our inverter control. Just turn that on, and that'll turn on your plugs. I'd like to show in a little bit on the inverter itself. There is a GFI plug. If your plugs in the cab are not working, go down to the inverter itself. There is a GFI. If you know what a GFI is, that's the safety button on an outlet, and it'll kick off so you don't get shocked, but you have to make sure it's reset. This is our HVAC controls right here. Just turn the fan on. You're going to put this button on park. This is going to turn our APU on, and right away you're going to feel some cool air coming in. And you can adjust that right here. This does not work for heat. You have to use the S-bar heater for heat. This is just for keeping the cab cool. It's optimized for about 8 to 12 hours on the batteries. We do have Opti idle on this truck. We'll get into that here in just a minute. Here is your sleeper mute for your stereo. That'll turn your speakers off. You have your stereo on up front. Dome light, there's your sleeper light and your ambient light. And that controls all of that right there. Power outlet, you got a cigarette lighter right here. And that's about it on this. You got a little shelf for your cell phone. Pretty basic. That's it on this. Let's head on to the front of the cab again so I can show the Opti idle. Okay, we're back at the dash here. For Opti idle, you have to have your key on. If you go to your menu up here, you'll see up on top, use your controls. You're going to go on over to where there's a little truck symbol. You're going to press the OK button. Go to Optimize Idle. To press Enable, you're going to press OK. You want your interior comfort on. Press OK. Now, when the batteries start getting low, the engine will turn on automatically. One thing to remember about the HVAC systems on all these trucks, they are not designed to cool a truck off. If you go to Vegas and it's hot outside and you leave the truck outside, it will not cool the truck off. You have to run your AC till it is cooled off inside. These things are designed to maintain temperature, not to bring down the temperature. And that's how it works. When you're done with it, of course, just turn the key off. That's all you have to do. Let's talk about some of the safety features on these trucks. They're pretty much all the same on all three of the different kinds we have, the Peterbilts, the Kenworths, and the Freightliners. On the Freightliners, we do have the Detroit Assurance System. On the PACCAR product, the Peterbilts and the Kenworths, that is the Bendix Wingman System. All of these consist of a radar transponder on the bumper, a camera in the windshield, and a radar on the side, a radar system in the transponder on the side that'll detect anything on your blind side. Pretty much how it works is the radar detects what's up ahead of you. If you get too close, it will probably either cut the throttle or apply the brakes, or both. If whatever ahead of you, if somebody cuts you off, as long as they're pulling you away, it will warn you, it will not hit the brakes unless you are gaining on it. So if you get somebody cuts in front of you, don't worry about it. You're going to be fine unless they're slowing down. One of the big misnomers about this is wintertime. What happens if I'm on ice? This is tied right into the ABS system on the truck. If you hit ice, the ABS is going to override that system. It will not lock the wheels up at all. The camera, pretty much what that does, it detects the line in the road. If you start wavering or going out without having your turn signal on to change lanes, it will give out a warning. It will not do anything with the steering wheel. It will just beep out real loud in most cases to let you know, hey, pay attention to where you're going. You're starting to leave your lane. Most trucks have a light up in the right on pillar B, and also a tone that will let you know. The other safety system is also the anti-roll stabilization. If you get into a curb, if the truck feels that you are starting to go too fast into a curb, it will cut the throttle and or apply the brakes. So if you're taking a freeway off ramp and you're going a little bit too fast than what's posted there, it will overtake and slow you down before you roll the truck over. Additionally, we have a dash cam on the front. These are forward facing only, and they do not have a microphone. Anything happens, any kind of shenanigans up in front of you, it's going to catch that and help you out. Also, we have pre-pass for the trucks to save you time in the scales. One last thing about the Freightliner, I have to get a little bit into the after treatment system. Most of you know you have to run DEF. The DEF tank is on the driver's side. You can't miss, it's got the blue cap on there. Always make sure you have DEF in your tank. Never ever let it run out. These trucks are designed to do an automatic regen. When it needs a regen, it will do it while you're driving down the road. Sometimes, though, it will request you do a parked regen. It'll tell you the soot level is too high, and in that case, there are controls you can go. You can always check and see what your soot level is if you go to your control on your menu, and you're going to go down to the second one here, and it will tell you your soot level. When it starts getting up here, it's probably time to do a parked regen. Once the truck does go into regen, please let it finish. Do not try and override it to shut it down. It needs to finish the regen. If you don't let it finish the regen, it could cause more of a problem for you. If you do have to do a parked regen, always find a safe place where there's nothing flammable like dry grass. The muffler gets very hot. So with all of these trucks, if you have any questions, there are resources for you. Every truck will have an owner's manual in there. I highly suggest if you have questions, go in there into the index, look up what the component you're wanting to ask about, and you should be able to find the information you need. Freightliner has a great app. It's called a Smart Source app. You can go on there, just download it to your phone, and anything kind of a question you have, that'll answer it. And of course, if you any other questions, feel free to check in with any shop manager. We're more than happy to help and answer any questions you have.